everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish out on the movies. I hope you liked the Super Bowl. Getting ready for Valentine's Day, and oh yeah, my birthday. Anyway,
for Safi's birthday,
no,
she got really excited because she loves Fear Factor so much that she wants to do her own Fear Factor competition.
No, I'm
so
not.
For her
God.
birthday dinner, she literally asked me if we could just eat different kinds of worms.
He's a liar.
And I said, Safi, that's weird.
I just had a 2-day bout of food poisoning.
Yeah.
From Taco Bell Mexican pizza. And I knew it had... I just wanted to let everybody know if something doesn't smell good and has some kind of odd flavor you've never tasted before, not a sour or anything else, but just an odd flavor, don't eat it. And I did. I ate the whole thing. You know how big a Mexican pizza eat. And I've been sicker than a dog for the last 2 days. We had Super Bowl food, which I helped make. And
no, you mean I had Super Bowl food, basically.
Yeah, well, we had a plan, though, to have Super Bowl food because it was Super Bowl Sunday. And we had another meal on Saturday planned that I was really looking forward to having. Couldn't eat any of it. None of it. And it was so disappointing.
You neglected to mention that I ate 3 different things at Taco Bell.
Yeah, Marco.
And I didn't get sick at all.
But mine was, Marco could see. I wasn't making it up. I was so sick.
Well, I just wonder, how is it? I mean, you got to admit, it's incredibly hilarious. I ordered and I ate 3 entire different items from Taco Bell. I didn't even get chips and cheese. I usually get chips and cheese and then 2 other things. But instead, I got 3 different things because I wanted to have some different things than I usually have. And I didn't get sick at all. But then you got so horribly sick just eating the one thing. You know?
And
Isn't that funny?
It could have been worse. I didn't throw up. But I had other problems. And we will not go into that. But anyway, so that's why we haven't done anything. Well, maybe Marco has. I have not been able to participate.
Yeah, I mean, we have a YouTube channel, so, I have to do work for the channel.
Yes, Marco. Okay.
I can't just, sit around for months and not do my work.
Oh, for heaven's sake. So anyway, we watched Fear Factor, which is on Wednesday nights. And it was episode 4, and the title of it was The Main Drag, and there are 11 people remaining. When it started, they said there were 11 people remaining to be, evicted or whatever you want to call it. And so, first of all, the main thing about this episode, which it came up in the last 3, was that they're doing this because they're all living together in the same house, and it could be that they did this too before, but they didn't show it. I don't think so, though.
No,
anyway,
they never did this before at all.
They've made this be a part of the show, actually, because, number one, people are making alliances, and I think it's asinine, because like I've said before, I've seen this in Survivor, and I've seen it in Big Brother, and in those 2 shows, they're in their situations, their habitats, whatever, depending on the show you're talking about, for weeks. This is only going to be for, I don't know what they said. Well, I guess they said 11 weeks? I don't know. I wrote it down before, but so they're in this house, they're making alliances, which I can't stand. And then the other thing is they have that room, which before the very last event, which will determine who goes home, the people who won that first challenge get to look in this room, and they have these TVs set up. We talked about this before, and they get to see hints of what this final challenge will be.
They don't get to see hints, they get to see the whole thing.
Well, what they show us seems to be a hint. Well, you don't still really know completely the whole thing. It's not
They get to
explained. They just see a visual. That's all you see.
They get to see the main idea. I don't know why you're talking about this now.
Okay, so
We're
anyway,
reviewing episode 4, and I think that episode 4, because we're reviewing this episode, is the best episode so far.
I agree.
But that's not saying much because the show still sucks. And it's still Soy Factor, House of Soy. Because you have these contestants, they're very unlikable, and the show is just so fake and phony, and I can't stand, like, I'm telling you guys, the majority of this show is just people sitting around the stupid house talking to each other.
About alliances.
And it's like, who cares?
I know, it drives me nuts.
I just want to see the competition, maybe a little bit of extra stuff here and there. I don't want to see these stupid people sitting around playing a game, talking game with each other. It's so gay. Like, there's this one guy, he's a detective, and he's supposedly like the best person there. And there's this one part where they show him, and he's lying down on the floor
outside
on this upper, on like a balcony or something, and he's trying to spy on these other people just sitting around talking. It's so gay. It is so gay. Like, I mean, I've never seen The Mentalist do something like that. I've never seen Monk do anything like that. I've never seen Sean Spencer and Psych do anything like that. I've never even seen Mulder and Scully do anything like that. And they did a lot of weird things. They fought aliens, and Scully got raped by aliens. And, you know, she never did anything weird like that. So, I mean, this guy, this detective, he's acting more like a monster from the X-Files. Like, remember that guy who crawled around in the vents?
Yeah, it was like one of my favorite episodes.
That's what this detective is doing. He's acting like a monster from the X-Files. And it's like, I guess this is the type of weirdo people that you attract when you make a Fear Factor show, is you attract these strange types of people who like crawl around like insects or something, or like bugs, or you know, like worms or something. I mean, I didn't know what the hell he was doing. And, you know, you're really not supposed to lay down on your stomach. It's bad for your body. And because it puts pressure on your organs, but like, and it's also uncomfortable, especially for people. But like, that was weird. That was very weird. And I
thought
think
something was wrong with him.
Yeah.
I thought he'd passed out or something. And one of the other contestants saw him, and they had more of a suspicion rather than one of concern. I mean, if I would have seen that, I would have thought he was sick, and that they were suspicious or something. I don't know. They were like in shock, but they said, "What are you doing?"
I would have thought he's trying to get a peek into like a young girl's bedroom or something. You know,
yeah,
like
there's that too.
Ted Bundy style. Yeah.
He was actually, Marco and I really liked this guy.
But that was weird.
But that particular incident was odd. I didn't like it. I wish he wouldn't have done it. And also another, the flight attendant guy, he thought that he might be a cop, he's an ex-cop, but because he said that he didn't reveal anything about himself. He was a mystery, and you know, I guess he just seemed like a cop to him, and so he was right, and he found out at the end. Everybody found out, but anyway, yeah, Marco and I didn't like that, and I just wish he wouldn't have done it. Because I really don't like any of the other contestants either. I don't. This thing about the alliances drives me nuts, and I'm swearing in my notes. That's how much I don't like it.
Let's read that. Where did you swear in the notes? See, Safi takes notes. I just use my brain to remember things. We all do different things. Let's see.
It's right at the top.
Oh, where? I don't see anything. This says Soy Factor, House of Soy. I don't see it anywhere.
Right there in front of you.
But I'm really good at... See, I got excellent...
Is that the first page?
Yeah, I got excellent scores at reading and comprehension in school, so I should be able to see this.
No, Marco, it's that page. It's right there.
That's Fallout. I don't see it.
Come here.
Wait, this is... Where is it?
At the top of that page. Here.
I don't see anything.
Marco, give me the...
Here, point it out to me, and you're she's got like triangles and
This
shit.
alliance, SH blank,
Oh, you
is
didn't
not
you
going
didn't
to
spell it
work.
out though. Safi is so uptight that she can't even say shit in her notes, in her personal notes. She censored handwritten notes like she's going to hand it over to the KGB to look over like, here, can you approve my notes that I wrote for this review? Like, that's fucking gay. But anyways, this is a Fear Factor show, and it's more like Soy Factor. The first challenge I thought was like an interesting idea.
Well, it's called the main drag, the whole episode, so that is the main challenge.
Basically, the challenge is that you get lynched on a horse, and then you have to unlynch yourself and land on a correct score, because it's supposed to be like shuffleboard, and I don't know, that was a strange idea. Like, this is Fear Factor, and it's like, hey, you want to get lynched?
Marco.
Anyway, like that's what they did. They get dragged.
Sense of humor is really weird.
They get dragged by rope across the sand. I mean, it was very strange. It's like, what is this, fucking Indiana Jones or some shit?
Okay, well, what it was is
like,
they had two triangles facing each other with a pathway in between. And they only had the numbers 1, 7, 8, and 10. And 10 was at the very top. So what you would do, a horse, which probably there were like 4 or 5 horses with cowboys, with their cowboy hats and everything. And they had the rope connected to the horse's saddle or whatever. And the contestants had goggles, helmets, full like a bodysuit, and gloves. And they had to hang on this horse rope and be dragged. And it said the horses can kick in 0.3 seconds. And this is what the main guy, what's his name, Johnny or whatever, and but a human's reaction is 1.6 seconds. In other words, it takes 1.6 seconds for the human to react to this being dragged. So they had to really be on their game.
It took all the women about 5 seconds to just let go and not get any score.
That's not true. Anyway.
Yeah, it is. Only one or two of the women got like a score at all. Like all the others like let go before they even got to the scoreboard.
Well,
it was really hilarious because, have you seen? Do you know what shuffleboard is, Safi? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Shipboard, shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. Like, I don't know if this was a good idea for a challenge. It was fun to watch, I guess, but like, it was so kind of just basic and bare bones. It seemed pretty easy, of course, which is easy to say. I don't know, but like, well, I don't know. It wasn't that interesting of a challenge.
Well, the person who had the highest score, and without going over the top of the triangles, would be the winner.
Yeah.
And so this is what happened. The very first one was this lady, and her name is Damien. Weird. No, wait a minute. No, the first person, it was the men first. They just did the men, and then they did the women.
I'm doing a review, so I wanted to mention how the women didn't get any scores except for one of them.
Well, Lance was the first. That's the flight attendant.
He basically hasn't had to do anything in the whole season so far.
No, he hasn't.
Which I really don't like that.
I don't either.
I think that's another huge problem with this show, is that in the old Fear Factor, the contestants either had to nut up or leave.
Yep.
And in this Fear Factor, Soy Factor, the contestants can just kind of stand around and go, oh no, oh I don't want to do that, oh no, I shouldn't. Remember what that cheerleader said in the first episode?
Yeah, I know.
I shouldn't have to have been put in this position. Excuse me?
What? What are you
signed
doing
up
there?
Yeah, you signed up for this position. Like, that would be like if you signed up to do an action movie and you complained that you had to do like action scenes, which is actually that's very, you could imagine that happening nowadays with a lot of these soy actors. So
well, anyway,
but anyway,
this Lance guy, he was first. Now this was very we've said about Damien about the fire and I think it's the previous episode or one of the previous episodes. She had a PTSD fear about being in a fire because she was in a fire, a house fire, when she was a kid, and it traumatized her. And so Lance, stepfather, had a farm, and something happened with maybe a horse or another animal, and he has had a PTSD fear problem about farm animals. And so that's the thing is about these people being on the show. Some of them really are trying to conquer a real fear that they have developed since their childhood. And so I find that part kind of interesting. But anyway,
Safi finds it interesting because recently she's developed a fear of Taco Bell.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, he got a 10 right off the bat, which is, for me, I thought it was really surprising. But he must be really strong. So then, like I said, it's all the men first. So then it was Blake, and he just wimped out, and it let go. Yeah. And then you have Rob. Now, Rob is the pretty boy, and I'm calling him a pretty boy because he's with the pretty girl, and they both are pretty people.
That's another thing that they showed in this that just made me want to throw up is that him and one of the girl contestants, they're like getting together on the show. And like, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not a fucking retard, but
don't you stop saying that.
I just feel like it wasn't. It was just it's a strange thing to show. Like,
no, but they do this in other reality shows. Anybody who watches them knows.
It's a reality show, but if they're gonna do stuff together, then just keep it off the show because I don't need to see that. Or maybe just show them together in the challenges, like they're holding hands.
But they couldn't do that this time because they were separated by gender.
Or interview them, separately. But like, I don't want to see them like snuggling together and like they had this whole thing like, is he gonna kiss her? Is she gonna kiss him?
And they
like
were all looking out the window.
It was so weird.
It was weird.
It's like watching it's like elementary school all over again. And, like, I think we've moved past that now,
they don't do that in other reality shows. They don't have people all grouped together watching that. That's queer. I don't like it.
I watched the Andy Griffith Show some on and off over and over and over again. And, like, that's the stuff that they would do. Like, you would see the whole town watching Andy get a kiss on the cheek from, like, his current girlfriend before she disappears off the show. It was so weird to see that, and so that was one of the weirdest things of the episode. Like, if they're going to get together, then I don't care. I'm not saying that I care about that, but I don't care to see it on the show, unless it's like more. I guess they're focusing too much on things that have nothing to do with fear factor, that have nothing to do with like facing your fears, and like, is it his fear to kiss a woman? Because if it is, he could be gay, So
no.
I mean, well, why did they show that then? Like, what does that have to do with fear factor?
They do that in all these reality shows.
Who cares?
I've seen it.
That's why nobody.
I've seen it multiple times.
That's why nobody likes reality shows.
Okay, well, anyway,
except
Rob's
for
next.
Middle-aged women who drink wine all day long.
Okay, Marco, that is really misogynistic.
Oh no, I'm so scared.
Okay, anyway, Rob, at one time, he had a very bad skateboard accident where he really broke his leg, a severe break, and they showed the x-ray. That's the thing, they'll show the pictures of the people, like they showed the flight attendant, they showed Damien when they were kids, and they showed Rob, and he was an adult, but and he was so kind of scared about doing certain challenges because he was afraid he was going to hit his leg like he did when he did that skateboard accident and injure it. So this was a legitimate PTSD, but he didn't show everybody. He didn't say anything in front of anybody else. He just did it.
This is how you know that he really doesn't like this girl, because if he did, see, here's the thing. If he injured his leg, he could get into a really fun Rear Window type of situation where she could take care of him, and he, she would feel really bad for him, and it would actually make things a lot better for him on the show.
No, this ain't gonna work for this show.
Oh, come on, Safi.
They have to do all these challenges. If he got legitimately injured, they would probably take him off the show.
No, it would be like Rear Window type of situation, and she'd cook pasta for him. No, she'd bring him like a Red Lobster carry out.
Okay. You know what?
Oh, come on.
So anyway, he was really legitimately frightened, but he didn't tell anybody. Didn't say anything. But he hung on, and he actually hung on until his head went over. You weren't allowed to go over not even an inch, not even a fraction of an inch. So he was out of it, but you know what? He wasn't upset about that because he felt like he faced his fear, and that his fears all along about getting re-injured were not legitimate. So it was a good thing for him, even though he didn't, he got over, and he didn't win. So anyway, Rodney was next. That's the cop. He went over.
Yeah.
Zach was next. That's the guy who nobody likes, and he.
Well, I like him. I think he's the best contestant.
I don't like him either.
He's the only contestant with balls.
He got a 7, and he was a little bit nervous too. Then we have the last two were Dita, and he got a 10, which was the highest. And then we had Ethan. Ethan was last, and he got a 10 too. And they were, the way their heads were on the mat, they were very close. So they actually had to physically measure the two. I don't know how they did this either, to see who won.
Yeah. And
Ethan won. Now Ethan is the guy who studied Machiavelli. So that's
he's the like the young guy who's got like the brain of a boomer.
So anyway, Ethan and Dita actually are kind of like having an alliance. So anyway, now we have the women.
They have a gay alliance. That's what they have.
Don't. Neither one are gay. Would you get off of it?
But their alliance is really gay because only one of them can win, and it's stupid.
That's right.
It's stupid to have an alliance.
Okay. Anyway, for the girls, like Marco said, and there's nothing to say about anybody else except Damien. She's the woman who had the fear of the fire.
Yeah.
And she hung out on. She was very strong. She hung on and got an 8.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say, it's pretty good.
That was fun to see.
And none of the other women were able to hang on.
Yeah, that was really embarrassing.
None of them.
I think what they should have done is they should have just cut like a montage of that, because it was pretty embarrassing how none of the other ones even got a score. So like, wouldn't you agree, Safi? I mean, it's one thing to, I just, it was kind of embarrassing.
Okay, so.
Don't you agree? What do you think?
I don't know. The two winners are Ethan and Damien.
She doesn't even have an opinion, guys.
So anyway, their gift is each will get to pick somebody to go in that last challenge, which is the end game challenge, and it will be called Get a Grip. Okay, and they get to go in that room and they get to see what it is, but they decide, which I thought was really queer. Did she pick anybody? Because it seemed like he did all the picking.
He told her they negotiated together. She said she made the wild claim that we cannot allow any of the women to be picked,
and
which is just outrageous.
He kind of objected at first, but then he went along with it, and I did not like that.
Again, like this is a reality competition show. Like regardless of their gender, they need to be put in the competition to do the, challenges.
And the other women, they weren't any part of it. They didn't say, don't put us in. No. They didn't. No, they didn't. And so it ended up.
If you're such strong, independent women, then why can't you handle being in a challenge?
Yeah,
on a challenge show.
So she negotiated and said, well, we can't have any of the women get picked.
Yeah, that was really bad.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
And then then he was just completely focused on getting rid of Blake because he did not do what they wanted him to do last episode. And it's so weird. It's so cringeworthy. They're still sitting around talking about how they miss that woman. And, who cares?
Yeah, I'm going to avenge our mama.
What?
Our mama's dismissal from the game or something like that.
Oh, okay. Let's see how that works out for you. Because to me, I think my strategy in this show would be, you clearly have an issue here where you have certain contestants who basically don't do anything on the show. They don't do any challenges at all unless it's like a group challenge and there's not really high stakes. And then you have these other contestants who are really athletic, and they're going to do really good on these athletic types of challenges. But then on the gross out challenges, it's more fair game. So what I would do in terms of strategy is I would pick the athletic people for these gross out challenges, because then you can get rid of them through a more fair game. That's what I would do consistently, because that's clearly the issue here. And you've seen that every episode now, basically. Another thing I didn't like, I don't know if Safi was going to mention it or not, but the boomer child guy, the boomer dumb jock, because he is a dumb jock, he also, he was saying how he made the most boomer statement of the year, and it's only February. He said, it's like politics, the choice is never perfect. And it's when you're voting for pedophiles for years and years and years, and you're choosing between two different pedophiles, the choice really isn't perfect because you're voting for pedophiles. So that's why politics isn't perfect anymore, is because all you're doing is voting for pedophiles and people who support Israel. And so that's never going to be perfect. But here's the thing. This is a competition show. This is not politics.
I know.
I don't know why this guy keeps bringing up politics.
I don't either. And I'm a real politico, and I don't get that either.
He's an idiot. All. He's an idiot. His political stances make him even more of an idiot. Who knows who he voted for? Maybe he voted for...
don't do it.
What's that guy?
I don't know.
That one guy, the guy who you don't even remember on the ballot, not the main couple, but the seventh candidate who's hey, I'm on the ballot too, guys. That's who he would vote for, because, you know what? The choice is never perfect, so why even bother voting? The choice for eating fast food is hard, so why even eat fast food? It's so stupid. It's such a dumbass mindset. And so who do they pick, Safi?
Okay, well, what happened was, because Damien relinquished her ability to pick somebody, because I think she and Ethan had to pick somebody, and then one of those would have to pick other people. But what they decided to do is Ethan picked Dita, which is their buddy. Then he picked 3 other people.
He sacrificed him so that he could then pick 3 people that he wanted him to pick, which again... You're letting these athletic people control the show, which is bad.
Yeah, so the name of the challenge, like I said, this is the end game. They call it the end game, which is perfect. And it's called Get a Grip, and that's actually a perfect title for the challenge. And what would happen is, out of this tube, like a big vacuum tube, out would pop onto the contestant a thing. Like I have all the things: cow tongue, salmon, cow heart, skinned rabbit and cow feet, which sounds revolting.
That's not
But
that
not
bad.
only that, juice would come out that they were sitting in, like, water that was gross anyway. And they had to catch it. And then when they caught it, first they would see who caught whatever they could catch. And then they would have to run over to this big vat, which it was a shallow vat. And they'd have to jump in, and they had this juice and a whole bunch of matching organs, or if that's what you want to call it, to what was in the tube the person caught. And you had to find the matching one, and then both had to be set aside. And you get, 3? And I think that's right.
2.
Yeah, 3. Really?
No,
I think it's, let's see.
Well, you have to find a matching thing per round, but you have to get 2 or 3. I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3 too. So anyway, first we have Dita, Blake, Zach, and the cop, who's Rodney.
Now here's the best part. Zach is the first one to get all the things that he needs to get.
And you're talking about different rounds, because like I said, when they completed the round, well, I didn't put down who caught what on this first one.
We don't need to do that. Well,
anyway.
Zach won first, which was hilarious because, again, these people massively underestimate Zach.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny, like, how they continue to target him, and it continues to be a failure. And I thought that was really cool. He's clearly the best contestant there. He's the only one who actually seems like a decent person on the show in terms of, like... Well, actually, Blake is fine, too. Both of those guys are the best ones. Everyone else is just kind of a soy boy or a soy girl.
Well, Blake is a fanboy of the show.
Yeah, and that's cool.
And so
fun.
he really does know how it works.
Yeah.
For real. And all this other stuff. Because he made the statement, I said last time, that they can have all the alliances in the world, but you have to have self-preservation. You have to worry about surviving, your own survivor, because only one person can win. He said this. I mean, he knows. So anyway, so all this alliance is BS, and he knows that. So anyway,
yeah.
So it ends up, Marco said, after a few rounds, Zach got all the points
and
right away.
After that, you had some back and forths, and then Dada, which is what I'm going to call him. No, Dada, he won, and he got safe. He got really scared because he was doing terribly, and he had to come back, and it was like, yeah, that's hilarious. See, as I said before, these gross out challenges put these athletic people in a more fair playing field. So he got safe next, and then it was between Blake and the detective, and unfortunately or fortunately,
Blake was faster.
Blake did a better job, and Rodney went home. And before he went home, he revealed he was a detective, which I thought that was nice. That was fun, because I think he said it at the end too. His big mistake was he wasn't socializing as much as he needed to,
and he should have. He could have. I don't understand how. I mean, if he was an undercover cop, he should be able to small talk people, and that's part of being without taking sides. With this stupid alliance BS, or he could have pretended, but not really wanted to go along with it. He could have done a lot more. He even admitted that, which I don't understand why he didn't do it.
Did he say he was undercover or just a detective?
I think he did at the very beginning. Somewhere he said that.
If he's only a detective, then you really can't blame him, because people don't like cops. And you would be able to tell if he's a cop just by talking to him. But if he was an undercover one, he'd be a little bit better. But I just think he was a dark horse who he just wasn't people just would put him up for elimination, just randomly, oh, that guy, we don't know much about him, so let's just put him up. And that made him a target that he didn't socialize.
Yeah. That's right. So anyway, we come, and then we have a scene from next week, which I think is interesting. And Zach says, Dita and Ethan are running this house. And I want to upset this alliance or whatever. And he says, I smell revenge coming.
I think his strategy, he said, is that he wants to throw the first competition so that he can get to pick the person in the last round. Because then maybe they'll pick him and he'll get to pick other people. That's what I gathered from the trailer. But anyways, I thought this episode was fine. I give it like a B. It was a bigger improvement on the other two. A big improvement, sorry. But still, I have these issues with the show. And I also just think the show has a very unappealing look. Which, Safi, she said that off camera right off the bat, but she has never said that on the reviews. Even though it's a review.
I thought it seems very superficial to me.
Yeah.
And since it's the first season where they're doing these new things with alliances and having a house where they all live and they have bromances. Not bromances, reality show romances. I still see, like, today or this week, like something about a Big Brother. It was like a romance that actually worked out, and which is very, very, even for Survivor, very unusual. But anyway, it's just all that is so weird, because it's almost like, oh, I saw this in Survivor, why don't we do it? Or I saw it in Big Brother, I think we should try it. Like they just stuck it in, like they pasted it in.
It's this kind of modern mindset where we reevaluate the past and we take out the things that would be quote unquote problematic, and and in the end you just make it a bland slop show that doesn't stand out from anything else. Because I don't know who looked at Fear Factor and said, let's add Survivor, Big Brother elements to the show.
I know.
But go ahead, continue.
Well, I gave it an A-.
Oh.
Because I thought it was very entertaining.
Oh.
I still despise the alliances, like I've said 3 million times. And I thought it was entertaining, because we've been watching these heavy shows, and either they were not good or they were just so heavy, and this is so light. Now, if you were just to watch something like this and nothing else, you might not give it a very good review. But it was kind of like a break from watching heavier things. So that's it. So there's nothing else to say about it.
Why does that guy keep talking about politics, though?
I don't know, and it's weird.
Really?
I don't know what he thinks he's doing. And I listen to people who are his age, or maybe younger. They're like Marco's age, and there's a few really good guys and it's mainly guys I've seen on YouTube, and they are really good. But they're not on Fear Factor, and they're not talking about Machiavelli. They're just if you can't get the news on regular news because it's been censored, what they do, it isn't censored unless on YouTube you have certain things you can't say, but I'm not that stuff.
In both of these episodes, though, he's talked about politics, and in both episodes, his political strategy has failed.
And to me, and almost, they were really worried because that Dita was not doing well. And they were all like biting their nails and stressing out. You could tell they were showing him, and Dita was too, because he couldn't catch anything. because that liquid that comes out afterward makes it slip. And that's why it was called Get a Grip, is you had to get a grip onto it and hold it until it was over, and then you have to go find the matching thing.
See, this thing about politics and how there's never a perfect choice is a complete myth. And it's always been a complete myth, because you go back to the 60s, and when JFK became president, the choice was JFK versus Richard Nixon. And, Richard Nixon was really good, but JFK was the perfect choice. You go back before then, people voted for FDR 4 different times because they thought that he was the perfect choice. So there clearly is a perfect choice. But the problem is that after the 60s, you had terrible choices on both sides until now and ongoing. And the only good choices were like third parties, like Ross Perot. He's probably been the best candidate since the 60s.
No.
Ross Perot.
No. Bernie would have been. Because everybody liked Bernie.
Bernie turned out to be a pussy, and
no, he wasn't.
He got his balls cut off, and he gave it to
Marco,
Hillary.
Would you stop
He gave it to Hillary both times because he's a pussy ass bitch, and he ruined it both times. But that's just, I wanted to say that because I can't believe that someone as young as him, who I don't know if he's older or younger than me, he has such a dumbass boomer mindset that led people to get to where they are today with all these pedophiles.
I think it's fake. I don't think he...
Really?
No, I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Like I said, I'm a politico, which means I really pay attention to politics every single day.
You could go all the way... It
drives Marco crazy, and he is so fake.
You could go you could go all the way back to the creation of America. You have George Washington versus the retarded King of England. Who would you choose? Who's the perfect choice? George Washington is the perfect choice, obviously. Like that is a perfect choice. So how come there were all these perfect choices throughout history, but nowadays suddenly they magically disappeared? It because you have people like this guy who say that it's politics, and in politics nothing's ever perfect, and you have to vote for the lesser evil because then maybe next time you can vote for someone who's actually good, and then consistently every time you just vote for the lesser evil, and you just get evil people running government every 4 years, and they're all pedophiles.
Right now, there are a lot of pedophiles coming out of the woodwork.
So the conclusion is there really is a perfect choice. It's just that people like this guy make it impossible for the perfect choice to be elected president.
Okay, well, I don't want to say another word about it, but anyway, I think he's fake. That's all I have to say, and it's another thing that's a little irritating. Along with the alliance talk, and this thing about we can't pick any of the girls. Why?
No girls.
Why?
No girls must be allowed to compete.
Why?
Even though they're on the competition. We must not do that.
They signed up to be on the show, and so did you.
Isn't it really kind of sexist that these girls can't compete? Even though we're promoting,
they're going to have to eventually. There's only going to be one winner.
I mean, what's up with that?
I don't know. I don't know.
If she just said, "Oh, can you keep that one girl out because she's my friend?" No, she said any girl. You're not allowed to pick any girl.
That's right. Any. She said that. You watch it, and you'll see.
And really, I think the funny thing is that by keeping all these weak girls on the show for this long period of time, all that guy is doing is making it easier for himself to win, because he knows that they're weak contestants. Because if they're not weak, then they would be able to get picked for the elimination challenge. They would be able to overcome the challenge instead of just standing on the sideline going, "Oh no, I can't do anything like that. Oh no, I'm on Fear Factor, but I can't do anything Fear Factor related."
Well, last week, a couple of the girls, what was it, how many? 2 or 3? They did have to do the gross out challenge, and they did pretty well, I think. But so I don't understand. I can't, there's no reason for us to talk about it anymore. Neither one of us understands it.
Well, this is what a review is for.
It's irritating.
Yeah.
To even think about it. That, especially when she says, "Don't pick any of the girls." What the hell? Why? You can't pick them all. Well, I guess let's see, how many were there? 4 or 5?
4 or 5.
I put Marco's going to make my birthday cake tomorrow, and I flipped the page to the recipe.
I'm making a chocolate cake like Matilda.
Yeah, remember the chocolate cake in Matilda when that little boy ate the whole cake?
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in front of Safi, and I'm going to make her eat the whole thing.
No, I can't do that. I'd be so sick. It wouldn't. I'd just be barfing.
That'd be hilarious.
No, Marco.
Remember?
You want a cake, you got cake.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 4 girls. Damien, Jaylene, Daniel, Chelsea, and then I have another. But I don't have any score beside them.
Well, some of the guys kind of act like girls, so you know.
Marco, cut it out!
Like the guy who says he studied Machiavelli, you know.
He's just a dip. Anyway, I did want to make another comment about one of the positive things I like about the episode. It's just the beautiful scenery.
Ooh.
They do these scenery shots, which I love. They had one they showed the mountains and the lake that's nearby, and it was and then the house, if you look at it from afar, it's in the side of a cliff. It's just really beautiful, beautiful scenery shots. So anyway, that's it. So we gave our review,
and the last announcement is that instead of doing a Fallout Season 2 review, I'm just going to rank the characters, because I don't think the show deserves a review as a season. I think that, you know, it's pretty obvious what the flaws were, you know.
And a lot of people have talked about it too.
Yeah.
About the too many stories.
And we have other things to do. We have to do, watch movies from last year. We got to rank the movies from last year, the new and old. I've already ranked the old ones, but I just need to upload those to Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, if you guys want to see the full unedited movie reviews, you have to head on over to Patreon and sign up. You also get access to tons and tons of bonus content, commentaries, character rankings like the Fallout Season 2 one that I'll do tomorrow, and also my short film. So a ton of stuff over there. You won't regret signing up. It is the perfect choice, and it's like how politics used to be. You know, you can either be a square and you don't get access to all this great content, or, and Safi's flicking me off right now, or you could sign up and be a part of the Cool Kids Club, and you know, you can see a ton of great content. And so also, Safi, please, what?
And either like this video or become one of our subscribers, and put a comment about if you're watching this. What do you think? If you're a fan of reality shows, because I know that I don't really watch them anymore, except for, I don't know if you want to call Hell's Kitchen and Master Chef in the reality show category. They're not the same. For example, the Hell's Kitchen, he was actually hiring somebody, and the Master Chef is just the best cook, and that gets a little weird. But so anyway, if you're a fan of reality shows, or you watch the other Fear Factor and now you've decided to watch this one, tell us what you think about it. Make a comment, either good or bad, just what you think. And that's it. So goodbye.
Bye.